What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Kingdom View, where we touch on multiple subjects within relationship, within politics, within the church, and so many different other areas that we look at and we seek to bring in the kingdom view, the view that God is wanting us to have pertaining to these things that we see trending and happening out in the world. So thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate your presence. And so I am Jason Hill, your host, and along with me, I have my two co-hosts. Right above me is Get Ron, aka G. What's going on, G? How you doing today?
Always winning, man. I'm always winning.
Awesome, brother. Good to see you. And
Everything's good. Good to see you.
at the top of the screen is my brother, King Lindsay in the house. How you doing, Lindsay?
I'm doing well, man. It's amazing to be on here.
Oh man, yes, sir, it is. Again, always a pleasure being on here and to talk about these wonderful subjects. And we got a spicy one today, brothers, that we're going to look at, and it's regarding the National Black Baptist Convention receiving from Target $300,000 that has been and put a lot of people in an uproar regarding that, especially with the fact that there has still been negotiating going on and the boycott that has happened, that has been taking place. And so there have been a lot of people who have had issues with the National Black Baptist Convention receiving this money. So what I want to do real quick first, fellows, is I want to read the response that the president of the Black Baptist Convention gave. And this is Dr. Boise Kimber, who's the president. And so it says this. It says the National Baptist Convention USA highlights Target corporate partnership during National Convention in Montgomery, Alabama. So it says this. It says the National Convention USA is committed to ensuring that corporations that do business in our communities give back to help rebuild and stabilize neighborhoods. The partnership with Target Corporation is based on our shared commitment to community empowerment through small business and entrepreneur development, investments in education and student support, and workforce and skill development that unlocks growth across our communities. The NBC USA has been clear about our expectations, and Target senior leaders have responded in a very positive way. We are working on a 3-year plan that will be very beneficial to the African American community. If I thought Target was not sincere in their commitment to the African American community, I would be the first one on the picket line. Our communication with Target has been at the highest level, and we are continuing the dialogue. Now, this letter, fellas, is in response to the fact that they have received a lot of backlash. And one of those individuals that expressed this backlash and had issues with what took place is Roland Martin and what it is that he had to say. So let's listen to a little bit of what it is that he mentioned regarding this whole issue that many people are having with what took place. Let's listen in real quick.
And I'll make the last point is very simple. I have no problem taking anybody out who is trying to block progress. I don't care if you got the same skin as me. I don't care if you are in the same fraternity. I don't care. If you are not about the business of changing communities, then we've got a fundamental problem. See, right now, I have my producer trying to get the National Baptist Convention on the phone. A matter of fact, if you are a preacher in the room and your church is a part of the National Baptist Convention USA stand up? Just if okay, that one I won. All right, if you are a member of a church and your church is a part of the National Baptist Convention USA stand up. All right, y'all got some homework because I need y'all to hit your national president and say, how in the hell can the National Baptist Convention USA have the audacity and the unmitigated gall to release a press release today announcing a partnership they are doing with Target while black folks is in the middle of boycotting Target? I know for a fact they've received $300,000 from Target. And so what you have literally is the National Baptist Convention USA selling out Black America with Target. Oh, I can read the press release because y'all got to understand, I ain't got no problem calling anybody out. I use names. I tag your ass on social media. I want you to see what I wrote. And it says it right here. The National Baptist Convention USA is committed to ensuring that corporations that do business in our communities give back to help rebuild and stabilize neighborhoods. The partnership with Target is based on our shared commitment to community empowerment through small business and entrepreneur development, investments in education and student support, and workforce and skill development that unlocks growth across our communities. It is a whole bunch of other stuff, blah, 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 blah.
So, fellas, we see that there is a lot of backlash regarding these things and what it is that took place. What's your initial thought? And I'll start with you, Gitron. What's your initial thought on this response that we see from Roland Martin, who is again one who is big time in the political scope and all, but oftentimes speaks to things taking place within the Black church as well. What are your initial thoughts on the letter and even the response by Roland Martin?
Wow. Well, I thought Lindsay probably was gonna speak first. Since I know that he's
Well, let,
extremely
let him do that. You know what? Because again, this was, and you're absolutely right, this was something that was on Lindsay's heart. I see him nodding his head already. Well, he's on fire, ready to get this out. So yes, let's go with Lindsay and see what he has to say. Let him start it off.
Well, first, before we get into what I have to say, I want you to put this in discussion view because I want the audience to be able to see me. There we go.
Yes, sir.
Listen here, man. All this work that the community, not just churches, just the community, the culture, have worked to make Target responsible for the things they promised us, which y'all didn't hear about. They promised us $2 billion to be used in our communities. 2 billion, not 300,000, 2 billion. And because they didn't do what they said they was going to do at the time they did, that's what caused the boycott. And because of the pressure that we put on them, they lost billions of dollars. Not only that, the CEO was docked 42% of his income to offset the losses. Store traffic is like crickets. And there was another demand that where Target wanted to come and talk to the people who put the boycott together. It was a representative of Target, but they said no. We want the CEO at that meeting. Crickets. So with those things happening, that's why I got turned up and went from just a Target fast to a full-out boycott. So in between all of that, now out of the blue, you see this happy Baptist convention partnering with Target to say we can do some things together. It doesn't make sense. And not only that, it shows separation in what we're trying to do. And not only that, they didn't get anything out of it. It's like Target chose somebody that they can manipulate or somebody they can use as a puppet in this matter, and they chose to fall for it. And heard you read that, Jason, and that sounds all good and dandy, but you already seen where they lied about what they was going to do. You talking about if I see that they wasn't going to keep their promise, I'll be on the front line. Where's the $2 billion at? We didn't get the $2 billion. They didn't start circulating that money out. That's the lie. But whatever they told you behind the scenes was enough to make you feel comfortable to get in bed with them. But now you about to feel the wrath of everybody. And
So
go ahead.
so that's what you feel is the major issue with
Yes,
the National Black Baptist Convention is the fact
yes,
that you feel like while all of this was going on,
yes,
the fact it's almost like an undercutting from
yes.
your standpoint of the momentum that was happening with the fast and all of what was taking place there, where there was a seeking of far more than what they ended up receiving, and so that would be your issue. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Get Ron, what are your thoughts about the whole scope of things regarding that situation and the money being taken?
Okay, so first of all, listening to the letter portion of it you read, Roland read a portion of it, and I guess we'll call Roland our cousin, who's going to bring the heat, and he probably says what a lot of people be feeling. It sounds to me like a lot of generalized, unclear rhetoric. As far as this is what the partnership is looking like, this is what we can depend on Target doing, or this is how we're going to utilize the monies. You know, I will first of all love to know who's going to follow this, you know, to make sure it's, you know, that you can trace how it's being used and that it's used in this manner. To be honest with you, when you start talking about scholarships and everything and this development and everything, $300,000 is really not a lot. When you start making these changes across the board, as this letter says. I was in Target about a week or so ago. Chill. The person I was with had to go by the restroom. We were on the other side of Atlantic Station. And when a lady got to go, And so we went, we didn't go there to purchase anything, nor did we purchase anything. As I was sitting in there by customer service, I was looking around and I could know, I could tell that it appeared that the traffic was kind of low. However, I had the advantage of sitting and watching these young people who was working there. And I started wondering, never hit me my mind before, what's going to happen to them, their jobs. This is just a whole nother layer to all of this. They've done whatever they had to do to get this job here. This job is doing what it's doing for them. If Target is making less monies than they were before, then that's going to cause a cutback in jobs. And so that's just one thing I wanted to throw out. I was wondering, is that considered in the boycott? Are we considered, do they have to go fetch another job and hopefully find one? Are we going to secure these people with a job that's comparable to what they had at Target? Because we're thinking about the whole and not just one. We are also considering them. That was just something that hit me there. And I was just, I because I didn't really know yet, I had to research to find out. was there any consideration regarding that? But so that's one thing. But the in reference to the money being taken, I'm wondering, was the president in on the boycott from the beginning? Was he in on it and then went a different way, you know, in a private meeting or private negotiation? You know, if he was in on the boycott from the beginning, then why would he do that without saying, hey, coming back to um, Jamal Bryant, and who's leading, who initiated the boycott, and everyone else to say, "Hey, this is how they came to me." I'm just speaking from an integrity standpoint. So to this brother, I was just wondering, you know, if you were a part of the boycott initially, where is your integrity that you would not go back and say, "Hey, this is how I was approached privately by Target, and I want to bring this to your attention." It appears as if his heart wasn't really in it if it was at the beginning. So I'm just wondering about that. I have a lot of questions, really a lot of questions about it. But I'm gonna pause right there, digest right there for a
No,
second.
that's actually a very, very good question, because it would show if he were if he was a part of it from the beginning, and then all of a sudden he takes a deal sort of to say and undercuts from that angle. That would definitely be different from he was never a part of it. He's like,
Right.
I'm never a part of this, and I'm not a part of the boycott or any of that, and I'm fine with Target. I'm fine with what it is that they present to me that they're doing.
Right.
That is different because there are people who have different perspectives on the
What they
boycott
do?
and all of
Yeah.
these different things, and also that would make a big difference. Do you know or have any information pertaining to any knowledge of that, Lindsay, regarding the gentleman and the National Baptist Convention, Black Baptist Convention, if they were ever a part of it? And what are some of your thoughts on some of the things that G mentioned regarding that?
I'm not for sure if they were or wasn't,
Mhm.
but because we just don't know unless they put their name on this on the I forgot the when you write your name as a group. I forgot what you called it.
The petition?
Petition. Yeah, I'm not for sure, but um, if you listen to the video, and when he talked about is there any pastors from the Baptist convention, and then he asked was there any members, because at that point they didn't know that they took the money, and when soon as he announced it, did y'all hear the oh my God in the background? Did
Mhm.
y'all hear the crowd like, oh, as if, are you serious? And I just would want to say that out of 31,000 churches, that's part of the Baptist convention. And a lot of these churches are just churches that, that have relationships with other churches, and some of those churches are, how can I say, non-denominational, but they have the title and different things like that. But there's a lot of churches that associate with each other or come together with things, regardless of whatever organization that you're a part of.
Mhm.
So it would be hard to say that if any of those churches or any of those members of those churches wasn't part of that boycott and different
Mhm.
things like that. So I
Yeah.
don't have definite information about that, but
And I'm
I would
and I'm
believe
actually
some that would be a part of that, and that's another thing that I was thinking, that at this point, because of what happened, some of those churches need to stand up and say something, represent for themselves. Don't let this organization hold you handcuffed if you're not a part of this $300,000 partnership or whatever 3-year partnership that they want to do. You got to stand up for what's right. in the midst of all of this. So I will leave it right there at this point, but we will hear a lot more about this coming out. And
Yeah.
it's just sad, it's just another step back, like, there's always something that we're working together on, and somebody is the weaker vessel or the weakest link when we all trying to be strong together. And always somebody want to figure out who's the weakest link.
Yeah.
I know y'all remember that show called Who's the Weakest Link?
Oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
just like this, who is the weakest link? Who can we kind of coerce or make them feel a little bit good just to show face? But regardless, this is sad. All you're doing is putting more heat on yourself. And I'll leave it at that for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, some G.
No, I'm real big about, if you for me, let me hear it. Stand right beside me, let me hear it. All this backroom stuff, I got your back, all kind of stuff. No, see, I've learned over the years that I can't trust that. So, because I done had some things said behind the scene, whatever, and it was like just to like pacify you or whatever. I don't know what it was, but then, and so I want to. That's why I say I'm talking about this guy specifically, the president specifically, because he can't make or a decision unilaterally, on his own. There's a board and everything, but I'm wondering, was he ever standing with Dr. Bryant, standing at the boycott line? Was he ever speaking out? So hopefully we'll do a follow-up. We'll go do some even added research and then come back to you all with some of this that's coming up now, just to see, because I'm real. I have a thing with people's integrity, and we as a people, I know you said as far as standing together and in the weakest link, and we call it the weakest link. Sometimes it wasn't even a link, right? It was never a part of the chain. And so that's the thing I'm trying to see. Was he ever a part of the of the chain? Now we also know that there is never 100% agreement really toward anything. Right. So even I heard Dr. Bryant may mention, hey, we know we're not going to get everybody. We don't need everybody. We just need a strong, group of people. And it made me think about when you were speaking on that, made me think about Jesus and the disciples. There goes Judas. There you go. And so who sold him out, you see? And so we as a people, as individuals, first of all, right, as Black people, but even before that, as children of God, because I'm talking Baptist and everything, and whatever your denomination is, you're showing that you have some kind of affiliation, you have a belief in God, and in His Word. So it's like, it is sad when there's a lack of integrity amongst just us. So as Black people, but as people of God, as people of God, that if you're for something, say you're for it, stand for it. If you're not, then let that be your stand. But don't, and then even let peacemakers shall be called the children of God. Why are you going to go behind their back? You know what kind of confusion this would cause. If we're in the middle of a boycott, if you hear Dr. Bryan and Roland and so many others speaking on this, what's going on. So I'm like, who are you to go and without even just probably letting them know this is what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm not going to let it be no surprise to you. Just something. That we got to do better as people, as human beings, as children of God, and as Black people. We got to do better, because on all three fronts, That is mud in your face. That's like, hey, this is what we gonna do. We ain't, nah. I don't like stuff like that. And it's going on now, but that same stuff goes on in our families, in our communities, in our local churches. What we're seeing going on this wider screen, it goes on, and we gotta change that.
Real quick, I want you to ask you a real quick question, and I want to show a little bit more of the video from Roland Martin and let us give more commentary on that. But let me ask you this just really briefly. Do you think that that's an issue if he was never in agreement with it from the jump? That do you think that there's still kind of a, like, if they were like, okay, I'm not necessarily in agreement with what it is that you guys are doing, just like we said before, that there are going to be people that don't agree with everything, and they may not have agreed, and so they have, if they were already not in agreement, said and come to those others that were doing the boycott and said, okay, well, this is what we're looking to do, or should they have just said, okay, well, we already shown we're not in agreement with you guys, so we're just doing what it is as a reflection of us not having agreement with you guys. Just real briefly before we
Well,
go and listen to a little bit more.
what I want to say quickly about that, as y'all was talking, or as G was talking, I was just thinking about how, and this is no pun intended, how they just put a bullseye, a target on their back. How this happened. If they wasn't a part of it, silently or whatever, and then this partnership, I mean, that's their right. But they literally just put a national target, a bullseye on their back, because there's a lot of things that are coming and happening. And this shows that we can't stand with them. We just as a whole, as the kingdom front together, not no organizations. I'm quite sure there was other things that we've all came together in agreement on, just because we're all in the body of Christ. This day and age, church is different than back when King was when churches was back in those days and different things. So a lot of churches fellowship with each other, but this, you just put a bullseye on your back, and now you're gonna have people, not even that, just organizations in out the church, leaders, they can't trust you. So you might not be called to do anything. You might even lose millions of dollars or millions of dollars of sponsors from other things that's coming up because they don't want to be associated with you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that, and I agree that there is, with this whole thing, a causing of separation, the distinction within us, and all. So let's listen to a little bit more of
But let
what
me
he
say this right
was.
quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me say this right quick. So I am hoping. So I if I could say something to the president, and this is not to come from come firm, but not necessarily so hard. My thing is, um, try to move forward, rectifying things with, even if you have a conversation with Roland and with Dr. Brian, try to move forward, trying to create some kind of peace. What we don't need in this day and time is just for things like we're saying right now, what's going on in the government. We don't need another world war. We don't need the church to be further divided than it already is. And that's what looks like is happening until someone in leadership, like you, Mr. President, who has taken this, because, and to what you were saying, Jason, if you're not for it, then that's fine. I said that earlier. If you're for it and you're not for it, that's fine. Just be forward with that. But now with where we are, let us try to move forward in healing and not further dividing. And let's see what does that look like and how we can do that. I know we're gonna still be talking about this. I know the boycott is still going on, but from leaders across the board, let us try to see how we can heal and not further hurt. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, let's take a listen to some of the things that Roland Continue to say.
This is clear. This is what happens when you have preachers who know nothing about economic development negotiate deals. When you know here, y'all, this $300,000 that they've received, the National Baptist Convention says in their own press release they represent 31,000 churches.
Did you know you could be entitled to a 5 or 6 figure payout if you suffered a serious injury at work, like a broken bone?
And 7.5 million members. And so if you just do some basic math of $300,000 divided by 31,000, that comes out to $9.67 per church. Now, I just want y'all to explain to me, what in the hell can you do for workforce development, entrepreneurship, and education and scholarships for $9.67? They didn't even get $10. They got $9.67 from Target. And so what they don't even understand, this is the problem that I have. So you sit here and do this, yet Target's market cap is more than $10 billion. You got 300,000. I mean, here's the deal. If you're going to sell black people out, I mean, can you not be the least expensive Negro in the room? See, this is what I'm talking about here. Because see, the thing is, Target committed $2 billion to spend annually with black-owned business and chose to go against their own decision, pulling back on black-owned products, but they want black folks in their stores buying but not supporting. Now, some of y'all might be saying, well, man, I mean, I hear all that, but that's sort of radical. Fine. If you think that's radical, go back and read King's speech, April 3rd, 1968, because see, part of the problem, too many of us have only listened to the mountaintop portion of the speech. At the bottom, which is the last 2 minutes of the speech, not realizing it's 43-minute and 16-second speech. In that speech, he said that we need to have economic withdrawal. We don't do business with companies that don't do business with us. He said we don't have to throw a Molotov cocktail. We don't have to burn anything down. He said we can simply withdraw our money. And the
Man, so we see
300,000.
Exactly. And so what are your thoughts on that and him breaking it down to the aspect of the fact that
I told y'all. What is $300,000?
Especially, again, I want you to speak to that in relation to, it seems as if he said that $2 billion was promised. Is that correct?
$2 billion with a B.
Was promised from Target that was what they were going to give towards, again, black entrepreneurship and other different things, and this church received 300,000. So
that was
a
tax write-off. That's a tax write. $2 billion is a tax write-off for Target. You know how many billions of dollars they make? $2 billion is a tax write. They need to write off $2 billion. And it would a beautiful place for them to put that money at. You in our community.
Yeah,
I just don't want us off of us.
I just don't want us to see it for just what it is. But like I was trying to allude to earlier, is that this is a character, this is a behavior, well, first of all, we're in a spiritual warfare, and but when we see things like this, when I see things like this on a larger scale, I'm like, this kind of stuff happens all the time. And what happens is that it's going on with people who then get elevated to these positions, and then they just carry that same behavior and mentality and mindset over there. And then they go over here, they carry it over there. So that is what we also need to look at, that kind of mindset. That needs to be eradicated. We gotta stop that way of thinking and moving about, as humans, as black people, as believers, as church. We got to stop that. And so, but there's not a lie. I love how he broke it down, because gas is high these days. I remember somebody the other day that was putting in premium, and it was like $4 and something for a gallon. So you're not gonna get too far with that $9 or something. Burgers.
2 gallons for each church.
Okay, who that's going to get to the church on the church van? Then you got I don't know. Last time I bought a burger, burgers cost more than $10 these days, and everything. I give a shout out to Sled Vegan too. Whatever burgers, them, them burgers are good, but they not. You can't get it for $10. And so we get excited by almost. It made me think about what they did to us when it came to our land, right? And trying to buy our land. And our folks would say, no, don't sell it. Don't sell, but if you are, I listened to something the other day. Tabitha Brown said that she's real careful of all of her negotiations, and that if it's something more that she don't believe in, it matters not how broke she has been or would be, she would not accept that, and that really stood out because it goes to her mindset, her spirit, her character, everything. And we gotta be careful that we let people think, hey, you can just make this little deal with me and then you forsake everyone else who looks like you or who's connected to you or who's following your leadership. And that's the thing, is that he was elected undoubtedly into this position. And so you're representing so many people. And even before a decision like that be made, while boycott like this is going on, these 31,000 should have some kind of voice before this kind of decision, if you're known as the leader, the president.
Do you think that there is so you would say that he's ultimately undercutting the value of what again could have been contributed, so I would ask that question and also ask it from the standpoint of, do you think that Target is doing this as a replacement of what it is that they're promising, and this is what the worry is for those that created the boycott, is that, okay, this $300,000 that's being offered and given is their attempt to give just a little bit when they're promising a whole lot, and at the same time them taking that $300,000 is now decreasing the value of what it is that could have been gained. Is that what your thoughts are, Lindsay, as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you just said it right there. 2 billion to 300,000. 300,000 is like 3 cents to them. To even if that's just a start of some money, for that to even come out of their mouth after everything that just went through, and to allow that, not even 1 million, 300,000. And what you're gonna do? How are they gonna play you when it comes to these programs? They're talking about a 3-year partnership. What they want to do? How they gonna puppetize you? Do it the way they want to do it. Slow roll the money if there's any more money coming behind this. But as y'all was talking, and you said something key, that this man was voted to this position. Well, he just put himself in the hot seat for this one. And watch when they start seeing Target be Target again, and manipulation and the heat from the public. Somebody might not have no seat no more.
I think that's a good observation. I'm really wondering. I do think we need to do another video once we get this other information regarding whether or not they were ever a part of this. Speaking of the Black Baptist National Convention, if they were ever a part of and in agreement with the boycott in the first place, and those that are a part of it are already kind of on that side, or is this just blinding them coming from out of nowhere that this is something that would be chosen to do?
I can't see, Jason. I can't see 31,000 churches, 7.5 million members, all of them saying no. I can't see it. Even if we never find out the information and the validity for real. I just
Mhm.
can't see it for what we all stood for. I can see members of them churches being a part of this, standing for this, even if maybe that pastor didn't. I just can't see out of that organization there was a significant amount of people that stood with this boycott. And it's just a bunch of foolishness, modern day foolishness that eventually it's going to backfire on you. Like I
Mhm.
said, you're used as the scapegoat to try to make face, but
Mhm.
to be puppetized.
You
Mhm.
know, what just came to my mind as you were speaking is the Cuban guy who advocated for Trump.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's a good one.
And how now Trump has gone, I guess, totally against what he promised, you know, um, once he got what he wanted, got the deal like he, say the deal like he wanted. And so now this guy is supposedly probably about to be,
Out of
deported
here.
out of here, And I say that to what you said as far as, when they start seeing that Target is not upholding um, whatever they expected or thought, um, then people are going to either jump ship or they're going to toss you out, Jonah. And what are these things? And
Well, you
so
don't understand this. Let me say this real quick. Boy,
I am serious.
I'm gonna say this one thing real quick. They don't even understand what may just happen. I mean, now how the heat might literally go up. You might have protests outside of the Baptist convention headquarters. You might have protests outside of the Target headquarters for multi days in a row. You know what I'm saying? You got head officials coming out to their cars, pickets everywhere. You don't know what's about to happen. Major social media people
I
or
don't get no
leaders around the
idea.
country talking behind this. You don't know what's about to come. The type of heat that's coming to where somebody might crawl their tail up and run or go hide behind a rock and leave the Baptists out there by themselves to try to fend for themselves in this. And nobody ain't
So
answering the phone.
So no, so to what you're saying, first of all, I want to say and put out there, peace be still. I want to put that out there, but when you were speaking, it made me think about the CEO of United Healthcare, um, who was shot down in New York, going to one of the conventions. I don't know if y'all remember this or not. And you know, it was a thing of because of there was so many people, a lot of boycotting and everything going on. There was just a lot of people who felt like injustice was taking place and that decision was being made that did not favor them, and then look out for them or whatever. And so this person apparently just wanted to go at the head, And so that's why I said when you're in leadership, people, whether you want it to be or not, there is an expectation of you when you are a leader. This is why everybody does not need to be in that role, on whatever level it is. And in this particular level here, that what with the insurance, that's why they went at him, whatever. He don't make the decision by himself, but they went. When you were speaking just now, I'm praying and hoping nothing like this takes place. However, this is something that you have to be mindful of when you in positions where it's affecting other people, But I just want us to get to a place where we just not we just don't sell out easy. And that we hang in there together. Yes, it won't always be 100%, but that we hang in there. And at least if I'm not going to get out there and boycott with you all, if I'm not in full agreement with you, I'm not going to go against you. I'm
Well,
not going to get out there and go that way.
I'm going to say this, and this just came to me. This is almost like when slavery, when we were still in Africa, and they were trying to get us. But because of our tribal instincts, we run back up in the woods. And then they tried to come into the woods and they was dying off because we was up in trees everywhere. They couldn't mess with us in those woods in Africa. But how they got us is they manipulated some Africans and they showed them how to get us in the wood. Man, I'm all about peace. I'm all about peace, but enough's enough, man. People are tired. We're working hard to do something, and then we get 2 steps back already without even us doing it to ourselves. And here we got this boo-boo to fool. And I'm just keeping it real, man. People are tired, man. And I'm not calling for, but I'm talking about there can be some aggressive protesting, man. It's like you slapped us in the face. All that work, you slapped us in the face. Now you think you can go home and sleep at night good? Well, what if your address get put on the internet and you got thousands of people at your house every night?
Man, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I would say he really needs to sit down, be set down or something from that position, because he's not leading. He's not. It doesn't appear that he is considering the 31,000
Well,
churches.
that's what you said
And
it right
so,
there.
for
You
that
said
sake
it.
of, yeah, so from that point alone, that if you're not going to lead them well, lead them right, if you're not going to consider their voices, if you're not going to check with them, before you make decisions like this, if they 31,000 is not in agreement, alignment with this, then then you're not doing well in leading them, and I still don't believe that he can make this decision by himself. So we're speaking of the president, but there had to have been a consenting board,
Absolutely. And that's what before you say that.
Jason, I'm just gonna say this. I don't think we don't need to even go see no more videos. We don't need to see nothing else. You're on to something, G. Every time you say something, you get me to think about it. And this the sad part of this. Out of them 31,000 churches, what about those real small churches that really can't defend themselves and they sitting out here by themselves? And because these they are part of that union and that convention, now they can easily be targeted. They right next door to such and such, and they was part of the boycott. Oh, you part of that convention, huh? These little churches that can't defend themselves. You didn't
Yeah,
think about that.
I think that when you speak to that, I do think that that's a true concern that they should have, and I want to put this out there as well and see what your guys' thought is on it, because of what it is that you're presenting as the possibility of what we see as division, as what could lead to unruly acts towards people that disagree in this particular case. That there are many that believe that this isn't something that the church should deal with at all, because of the divisiveness of this. I want to know what it is that your perspective is of you two fellas. What your thought is when people say that the church shouldn't even be dealing with this. We need to be preaching Jesus and going out and proclaiming, because when we start to get into these things, a lot of the divisiveness, a lot of the anger, the bitterness can take place within the churches that are supposed to be united in Christ. What are your thoughts when people present that?
Well, I'll lead the charge in this question. If you just go back into time, as far as dealing with churches, we were in the community. We were the community. They looked for the church to speak and help us. They listened, they gleaned to us. Now we fell off a lot of that in the modern day church of being those leaders in the community, helping them. It's like we got comfortable, but we are out here, and it's our right to be out here with our people, because a lot of them don't have a voice for themselves and stuff, and we'll still be getting played every day. You know what I'm saying? And it take big mouths and big voices to shake up some stuff. You know, they want us to be silent, to keep systematically putting us in boxes and places and stuff like that. But like I said, I do believe in peaceful protests and different things, but it's just sad, like I said, when we're doing such thing and not somebody outside of us, but somebody that's right there with us, in the same vein of God, and it crosses us and stuff like that. But yeah, we're supposed to be in the middle of these fights, man, because it just builds a stronger relationship with the community that they ain't there out there by themselves.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Get around.
So these people, are they the same people who are benefiting from what Dr. King and many others have done? That, and he was told to leave a lot of that alone and just stay in the church, preach, man. He had a lot of backlash as well. So we are actually standing on the shoulders of many of those, and just like in King's Day, many other preachers did not agree with him. Everybody was not with him, and this is, I think, the mindset that Dr. Bryan had, that everybody will not be with you. Everybody wasn't with Dr. King, yet look what was accomplished. And so many times once you accomplish, you forget where you came from, or you forget, what it took to get you there, whatever. I don't know. But to this question here, we have been called, we have to be in the marketplace. We have to infiltrate. We have to, that's just yet another way to let our light shine. We have to be out there to do that. It's to let your light shine before, so all men can see, for the world to see. So how can that happen? Just staying in the church, right? And so if we're going to be salt to the earth, not to the church. And so we're to go out. We're to be everywhere. I think Canton Jones, somebody had a song, and we everywhere, Christian, we everywhere, and we're supposed to be everywhere, making a difference, making it better, bringing light to dark situations, bringing love where there's hate, bringing righteousness where we see there's injustice being taken place. So that is we are those vessels. We are those vessels who are supposed to go out there and be. And even wherever we are on our jobs and wherever we are supposed to be right there, wherever we're working in that school, we're supposed to be making a difference and shining our light, and hopefully being there to give another way of probably looking at something or bringing peace or whatever. So yes, to that, we are to be in the marketplace. We're to be out in the world, in the Senate, in government, running for office. Dr. Warnock, so glad he's a senator. He's a man of God preacher, but he's also a senator, So we have to be out there so we can be a part of making the decisions that impact the people and make their lives better. This is another way that we go ye therefore. This is another way we minister and make. This is another way that we become the word. And we don't just preach it and teach it, but this is how it looks when it is manifested in, and this is the evidence of the word in action.
So you would say then, of course, we can preach Jesus in the church. We can go out and we can preach Jesus, but then at the same time, we can recognize the injustices that take place out in the world, and we can speak to those things and seek to help for those things to be um, uh, to be repaired, to
We
be
have to.
ultimately, yeah,
We
and
have
that's a
to.
part of our mandate as believers in Jesus Christ.
Yes, how can I preach to all of you here on Sunday, knowing you got to go back into the world? You're not living, you're here in this church for 2 hours.
Mm,
You got to go back out there. I'm not concerned about your school.
mm,
I'm just concerned about you up in here. I'm not concerned about you where you got to go shop at.
mm,
I'm not concerned about the injustice taking place in your communities where you live and housing and there's not affordable housing. But I just want, when you come here, I'm gonna preach you a word, but I'm gonna forget about you and what you got to go deal with and live with out there.
mm.
No, that's not.
Excellent. Excellent. So before we go, I want to just see again, because you guys have presented so much regarding this that I thought was just so excellent. And I just want, just as closing remarks, what is it that you want to leave with the people as they consider these things and what has taken place? Again, of course, we acknowledge that there's more information out there to gain and to understand. But what is it that from your heart regarding this, when you have people look out and see what is taking place, what is again the kingdom view that you would want them to have and to leave regarding this? I want to start with you. Go back to you, Gibran. I want to start with you. What would be your closing remarks, and how would you point people and give them the kingdom view of how to observe all of this?
And I was trying to get my thoughts together. Okay, let me see. So, so this right here, I've heard before: stand for something, or you'll fall for anything. And I just want to encourage those who have been boycotting, those who have been standing, to continue to stand. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Believe in enduring. Believe in withstanding. Believe in that. Believe in unity. We've heard that a fist, right? You know, together, all these fingers, one by one, can't do but so much. But when we come together, we have a powerful punch. Continue to stand and don't get weary. Um, I do believe that Dr. Brian is a strong, powerful voice for this cause and for this movement. And Martin is truly a voice, a powerful voice for this. And I think we should be grateful that we have voices in our community that stand so strongly and boldly on our behalf. I also would just lastly say to Target, and I put it in the atmosphere because I know the power of my words. Do right, make it better. Don't let this be your legacy. I mean, you have the ability to make a better impact, to rectify this, to come out better, right? And so if you choose not to, then you choose the consequence that come with it. But you're letting us know this is just what you think, and this is what you choose. This is who you are. But because you can do better, and then do what you said you would do. Be that kind of image in our community. So that's my thing. And then just to everybody, as I've said this already, I would just say, as individuals, as human beings, as Black people, as church people, believers, let us just do better with integrity. Now, when we're dealing with each other, let us do better. And if you're for, say you're for. If you're not, say you're not. But that other stuff, as far as in your home life, in your family lives, on your jobs, don't be that one going out there doing something, counteractive to um, what everyone else is probably trying to accomplish. Don't be under, whatever you call it, undercutting. Don't be that one. But be upfront and as an individual. Anyway, that's it right there. That's and I approve of that message.
Well, excellent. What would you say, Lindsay, as your closing remarks on what it is that you want the people to leave with regarding this situation and regarding you guys attempting to present to them the kingdom view pertaining to this? What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I was thinking about, just hearing some of the things that Brother G was saying, King G was saying. First of all, we just need to pray. Those who've been out there boycotting, standing, believing that Target was going to do right, keep praying. That's the first and foremost. Keep praying. They said when two or more come together, God is in the midst and something powerful can happen. Yes, this happened with the Black Convention um, coming in and kind of creating a little stir up, but we always know how powerful prayer is. And what has to happen will come to pass. And just because of what things that have been happening over the last few days, I don't think Target expected this. But just stay vigilant, keep praying, keep standing, and keep boycotting, but do it in the right way, to where it's pleasing to God. And I believe everything that's meant to happen will happen, and in one day or another. And that's all I have to say to that situation, because we said a lot about this, and
Yeah.
we say prayer is the key factor in this, and keep standing, and it will all come together.
Absolutely. We'll definitely understand that. And I appreciate you two brothers presenting the kingdom view regarding this very, very uh, situation that can be soul stirring and can be truly impactful if we understand it properly. So thank you guys so much. And thank all of you for joining us and for being a part of this community. Please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. Please follow us. Again, we are going to continue to seek to put out the truth of God and His Word pertaining to these things that affect our everyday life and the life of other individuals as well, where we attempt to present the kingdom view. God bless you guys, and we will see you next time. God bless.